All right, guys. So today we took no trades. Pretty much, you know, no trades today. We're gonna end this week off in the red, which is pretty unfortunate. Um, like Tuesday's trade should have not been, or Tuesday's day should have not been red. If I'm being truly honest, we should have been in the green after that first break even, which is pretty unfortunate. I don't know, you know, something got the best of me after I took that break even. I got greedy. I got impatient. I wanted more. I wanted the market to reward me and to get out of that drawdown. And I was just thinking in that short term mindset. And then that's kind of what's made me spiral and like just crash out. And, like if you don't have yourself under control, you're never going to be able to become successful and profitable in trading. Because again, once you have a system, once you have a strategy, if you're unable to follow it psychologically, you're going to lose. But today we took no trades. I really couldn't find my system being presented. Today. And yeah, I was just going over. I already recorded this, but the video was all messed up. So let's clean this chart. Let me go through a little bit of a top down of what I was watching for today. So today, this was my draw on liquidity. That high right there, you can see it was pretty much met. And then on the 4 hour time frame, we had this 4 hour candle range high, candle range low, swept, and you can see now we're actually seeing the high getting swept here, which is pretty bizarre. I didn't expect the market to. I guess we're having that TGIF. I expected longs to actually hold. I expected this CRT right here. It's like more of a retracement CRT, not really more of a reversal one. That's kind of what I was expecting. But since we swept the draw, I can potentially now see for shorts playing out. But I'm not going to take a trade anymore, just to further confirm that sometimes people don't believe you. I'm going to lock my account out right there for you guys. So pretty much we swept the low. What I would have wanted to see at 9:30 is the market further come back down and then eventually start to move up higher. That would have been a lot better, but we didn't get that. And then on the 30-minute time frame here, we pretty much, yeah, we didn't really have much. We had this fair value up here, but that was really it. We didn't really have much. I won't lie to you. There is a small little fair value gap. We got inverse way all the way up here. Like who's gonna be? No one's really gonna be watching that, if I'm being truly honest. And then on the 15-minute time frame, you had this 15-minute, SIBI get inverse also to then eventually push you up. But this is where market open right here. Right after market open, after 15 minutes, we usually, we inverse, not usually, but we inverse that fair value gap, showing straight bullishness. We already manipulated for pre-market. I think we did have news, but we also had news at 10. So yeah, and then eventually the market did retrace up into that 15-minute fair value gap, and this probably would have been the best trade for today whenever we retraced up into that 15-minute fair value gap and this 5-minute fair value gap here to then eventually look for longs after you form a lower time frame inversion fair value gap. This is clear. This is your time frame alignment. This would have been on the 3-minute, if I'm being truly honest here, this fair value gap that also formed. And I was looking at this, I won't lie. I was looking at it in real time, but I just didn't take it. Why? Because again, it's not following my system. My system, I needed one out of the three confluences to form, and I did not see that. And again, it was pretty much, at market open at 9:48, 10 minutes after market open, or 15, 20 minutes, whatever, And this is a good trade, but the risk to reward to me honestly wasn't the best either. My stop loss would have been around here, at most right here, 44 points. And suppose you enter at the candle closure, your take profit is 27 points, or your break even, and to me, that just, it's a negative R, and it's not a bad setup, because you can go break even and then eventually you can just aim for the draw on liquidity. That would have been your close to like a 1 to 2, close to 1 to 2. This would have not been bad, honestly. This setup would have not been bad. I think it's really much like a B plus setup, if I'm being truly honest. To me, it's just not an A plus setup. Even though some people may classify this as your A plus setup, I just don't really see it as an A plus setup. I just didn't see the confluences I needed to see to take this. And I was just really tape reading today. And this is pretty much really the only setup you could have found. YM did also give us some really good potential, movement today. It was the one that I was paying attention to at market open, but I just really didn't see much either. It's just same PA. Honestly, we moved up higher. This one just didn't really have any retracements, and that's kind of why I was looking at it, because it just was extremely bullish, extremely bullish. It had a clear, 4-hour draw on liquidity also, and yeah, it just looked really nice right there. Yeah. You see the market retraced, then eventually pushed up and it reached that drawn liquidity, and then after that, it just basically started chopping around, and then eventually now we're dropping. But yeah, this would have been also a really, really good setup. Entering off of the 3 minute right there, and then there is no lower time frame for really. You probably have to scale to like the 30 second, which isn't ideal on these right there. So yeah, not really much here, honestly, either. Not really much. We didn't really find much today, but this would have been your potential, the best setup for it today. I just didn't want to take it because again, it's just not following the system. This week we have the first, you know, I won't lie. Last month was my best month in terms of trading, but on the Express it wasn't. What I mean by that, on the combines, it was by far my best month. I was disciplined. I was following my rules. I was following my system. I was able to walk away when I hit break even. I just had that abundant mindset, and I still have it. That okay, if the market doesn't give me what I want to see, we're gonna walk away with whatever it gives me, and I know the market will present another opportunity, another day. I'll just have to be patient and wait, and then I'll be rewarded. And as simple as that. And then eventually we did that on the combines. We passed. Then eventually on the Express, it was more of an emotional mindset where like, okay, I need to make money quick. I need to, have this, it's a short-term mindset, and I just didn't enjoy having that because again, the results weren't the best. They're not the best. This day right here, taking really bad trades on a 30-second inversion for Rally Gap, which didn't even form. We're entering before the close. We're, on the 30-second when the 1 minute had a 1 minute SIBI. So we were trying to trade a 30-second inversion, which was a SIBI that was about to, become inverse. We didn't even wait for the close. Second time we did wait for the close, but we didn't even notice the 1 minute. We weren't even following the system. This day should have never been a loss. First and foremost, just rushing, trying to make money after, passing the combine. And yeah, just really bad. This day wasn't a bad setup. I won't lie. It wasn't the worst setup, but it just wasn't the best either because again, it wasn't following the system. We were basically trading against the higher time frame. Directional premise. We didn't have any of the confluences that we needed to see on the higher time frame, the confirmation time frame. We just simply scaled to the lower time frame. We found a trade there, and it just wasn't ideal. We need to have more of the higher time frame backing us up. That's why it's so crucial. This day right here, first trade right here, which was a break even in profit basically, or a trail stop loss in profit. We should have just ended the day there. I won't lie. We were up like close to 1%. We should have just taken the profit there, but I was greedy. I won't lie, I was greedy. I was moving my take profit higher and higher, trying to get out of the drawdown. I was like, okay, I could potentially make more if I just move my take profit up and up and aim for 2% to get out of this drawdown. And then eventually, next thing you know, it comes back down, stops me out. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, I need to make this money back, I need to make this, I need to get out of this drawdown. And then eventually that did more damage because I wasn't able to walk away after having a good trade following my system. I just needed in the back of my mind, like, okay, I need this money back. I need to like get rewarded for the amount of work I put in. But no, bro, don't have that type of mindset in trading. Because again, if you're not following your system, if you're not having logic behind your trades, this is what happens. You crash out and then you lose. You're taking every single setup you see, which isn't ideal. You need to have rules, regulations, and logic thinking. And just being able to sit on your hands, being able to walk away, and just being able to be content and understand that the market will offer you more opportunities later on in life. You just have to be willing to be patient and disciplined to capitalize upon them. And then eventually, Thursday, break even again. But it was really good, we were so close to our drawn liquidity and our target, but the market just simply, again, trailed stop loss and profit, and we got stopped out, which is perfectly fine. We could have been break even, but it's perfectly fine. And if I'm being truly honest, if we hit that trade right here on Thursday, if we would have hit this trade, we would have been up 1%. And then eventually, if we just took the break even here, would have been close to around like 600. So we would have been close, damn near closer to like, getting out of that drawdown. It would have been at 600 minus one. Would have been down like 400 maybe this week at most. But again, it is what it is. I'm perfectly fine. Again, getting out of drawdown is by far one of the hardest things to do. And it takes a lot of mental capital to get out of the drawdown. But if you know your system, if you know your stats, and you're just able to be disciplined and follow them, you will get out of the drawdown. You just have to be willing to combat those negative thoughts, those negative emotions, and overcome them. And as simple as that. My goal for the rest of the month really is just to follow my system and take really good setups, and that's it. I don't really plan on doing anything else, if I'm being truly honest. Because again, I know it's profitable. I know it works. Why not continue trying to, replicate the results you have done before to get rewarded, And it doesn't make sense trying to change anything here. There's no point. This week we're down 200. You know, it's one of those weeks where it was very slow. I won't lie, it's very slow. I know a lot of people got punished. Maybe someone, this is by far someone's best week. Who knows? But for the rest of the month, really, all I plan on doing is trading the system. And whatever results we get, if we're eligible for a payout, if we're not, that's perfectly fine. But if we are, not taking it this month, waiting until next month, and rewarding myself for basically the new year, and starting to scale after that. So for next year, I really want to scale around, probably get like 4 to 6 funded accounts, start copy trading, and just try to, perform my best, if I'm being truly honest. But yeah, for this month, we're going to have to really see, test our discipline on an express, first time on an express, and it won't be my last time, you know? Yeah, that's really it. Whatever results we get, so be it. Just, I'm trying to end the month green. That's all. So yeah, peace.